Hi, and thanks for coming to watch this video from Carolina Varsity. We're covering the Western Regional Finals and here in the 3AA, and we have a really, I think, intriguing ball game of number 3 Hickory Ridge, who just came off of a big 4-overtime win over Marvin Ridge, going to play Weddington, who went up to Asheville and defeated AC Reynolds. So this is number 3 versus number 2, Jeff.
Oh yeah, grab your popcorn, folks. Yes, this is. I think these two teams are going to be very equally matched. But of course, this is what you get in the 4th round of the playoffs. Hickory Ridge at Weddington, and Weddington has had 2 games where they've scored in the 50s, 6 games in the 40s, and 3 games in the 30s. But Hickory Ridge has had 2 games where they've had 50 or more, and then 4 games where they've had 40 points or more, and then 3 where they've had 30 or more. So, I mean, it's both teams have great offenses, and defensively, Weddington has pitched 2 shutouts and then held 6 opponents to single digits, and likewise, Hickory Ridge 2 shutouts and 5 single digits. Or they held 5 opponents to single digits. And the most points that they've allowed, Weddington allowed 35 points in a 35-31 loss to Pinecrest in a tournament earlier this year in Monroe. And most points allowed by Hickory Ridge were just last week in a 55-49 quadruple overtime win over another ridge, Marvin Ridge. Think they're related? The lowest each team has scored, Weddington, 7 points in a 21-7 loss to Monroe, who's still alive in the playoffs. Then the lowest Hickory Ridge has scored is 10 in a 10-8 win over Central Cabarrus. Almost a crosstown rivalry right there. And another nugget I'm going to throw in there is, unlike the previous games we talked about, these 2 teams right here have a couple opponents in common. Piedmont. Weddington previously played Piedmont, I'd say week 10 or week 9, and won that game 42-7. Hickory Ridge played them much earlier in the year and won 14-0 over Piedmont. And Weddington played Marvin Ridge, the team that Hickory Ridge played last week. Weddington beat Marvin 34-3, and Marvin Ridge, like aforementioned, beat him 55-49. So, but we all know that when these 2 teams come together, all you can do is throw records out the window. None of that's going to matter when they face each other in Weddington. And frankly, this game's going to be too tough to call, but I have to kind of give the slight edge to the home team on this one.
Yeah, the thing about the home team is defense, and the deeper you get into the playoffs, for most situations, defenses win it for you. Now, we saw some things just like Hickory Ridge, Marvin Ridge last week where it was really about offense, but in the end, you have to make stops. And I like in a regional game having a good defense at home. What you want to do is take a good defense into an away game. That's kind of what Weddington did last week against, AC Reynolds. You take a good defense into an away game, that can kind of help settle things for you. I think of the 2 teams, I think Weddington's defense is maybe a little bit better. Hickory Ridge has had a very good season, and they've had their share of shutouts and low-scoring ball games, but I don't know. I think this is going to be a good ball game. I think it's going to be a very tight ball game. I think it's going to be probably a 1-score ball game. Who knows? We might be looking at another overtime game here. But I kind of do like having that home team and having that kind of defense sitting in the 4th round. Those are good elements to have. But then Hickory Ridge has got a little bit of momentum riding with them too. So great season they've had so far.
But could they also have a little bit of fatigue after having to play all those extra quarters, 4 overtimes? Because I'm sure Weddington was loving that.
Yeah, but the thing about high school overtime, that's only 4 plays normally. At the most, it's 4 plays. It's 3 plays and a kick usually, but at the most, it's 4 plays and overtime. So that's only 16 plays because you don't get any first downs. So you've only got 4 shots really to do anything within 10 yards. So I don't know if fatigue. I hear what you're saying. I don't know if fatigue is that big of a factor though, because it's not like going an extra quarter. But we'll see. I think it's going to be a real good ball game. If you are going to attend, we'd like to hear from you. And if you do attend, how about letting us know what you thought about it? Thanks.
Some joy, memories are made of this. The memories you gave me. Don't